All right, Mr. Nash, can we have your name, please?
Jim Nash.
And can we ask how old you
I
are?
am 63.
Just a young fella.
Yeah.
First surfboard?
The first surfboard I bought was a Dunlop, 9'9" long. It was a 9th Dunlop or whatever made. It was bought for £22, and it was bought from, it was either Wrightson Stationery or Wrightson something or other, and it was in Cameron Street in the same shop where Bond and Bond was now Noel Lehman.
Can you remember what you get paid a weekly just to roof?
I was apprentice and I got paid £4.3 and 6 a week in my hand. That was gross.
Yeah, so that board's about what, three weeks' wages sort of thing? Or
I couldn't afford to buy one. I went to a guy's place, a farmer up the Golden Stairs in Mangaroto called Charlie Causa, and I said to him, how much scrub have I got to cut down to do 22 pounds worth of? And he took me up there and he said, you cut inside that paddock and you can have your surfboard.
So how long did it take you?
I used to go up nights after, no daylight saving those days, nights after work till dark, and it was all slasher and a bit of axe, but and weekends. It probably took me a month. I used to work Saturdays and Sundays, and every night I go up in for an hour because I could almost drive right to the place.
And you really earned that surfboard.
I earned that surfboard, yeah.
Where did you start surfing?
Waipuko.
Why did you take up surfing? Do you know?
I used to ride a water skiing, and the shop, it's still there, the same shop at Waipu Cove, they hide surfboards, and they were yellow. They're all painted yellow, and they had about, I don't know, 10 of them. Yeah. And you could get them for three and 6, it was. Yeah. And for an hour, but we used to take them all afternoon because they couldn't find us. And that's how I learned. And I sort of had balance because I had done a lot of water skiing, and surfing's the dead opposite of water skiing, as you know. Yeah, yeah. And so I sort of picked it up quite quick. Yep. Yeah.
Now, were you a member of the Tati Surf Club?
I was. Yeah, I was for a few years, and I was just trying to think of the years. It was a long time ago. It probably would have been in the...
It started about 65.
Yeah, 67, 68. So I come to Wrong around 1970. Yeah. So I was there probably that 67, 68, 69.
But you used to hang out with all the guys.
Used to know, yeah. See, most of our surfing was done at Waipu Cove, Langs Beach, Mangawai Bar. Yeah. On Mangawai Bar, Te Arawai Point, and Parkery. Yeah. And we used to surf quite a bit down that Johnson Point Road, which is the Waipu River mouth.
Oh, the river mouth there. It's a nice little break there.
Yeah, yeah.
So you surfed Mangawai Bar, no leg ropes?
No, nothing like that, mate. No, nothing like that.
And how many guys would be out in a typical day at, say, Mangawai Head? When
good surf? Yeah. A dozen. A dozen was crowd, used to piss you off. Yeah.
You telling me earlier about a surf trip you did to Gisborne. Can you enlighten me about that trip? What?
Yeah. Oh, before I go on to that, when we were at Mangaroto, like I served my time at Mangaroto, we used to ring up a lady in Waipu Cove, and I never forget her number. Her number was 127Z. Yeah. It was a lady that lived on the hill. Yeah. And she would tell us what the surf was like. She'd say it was good to come over. I never met her. I would have rung her 1,000 times. Yeah. She'd be dead now.
And she never complained or anything?
Never complained. I was told by some other surfer, ringer. Yeah. We'd knock off 4 o'clock, say, when the surf was good, we'd have a fair idea. So I'd say to the boss, I'm out of here. Yeah. And Goldie, my mate, was a shearer. Or, he used to work for the local butcher shop at the time as a butcher. So he could always get off because butcher started early in the morning. Yeah. We'd bring this 127Z and away we'd go. Yeah.
So, pity we don't know that lady's name. She deserves a medal, doesn't she?
She'd be dead. Yeah. She'd have to be dead. Yeah. She'd have to be dead now. Never knew who she was, but obviously she lived right at Waipu Cove on the hill, and she was a real expert at telling you what the surf was like.
Can I ask you what sort of car you were driving? What was your first car?
Austin 8.
Austin 8, yeah. And did you take that for miles? Or?
We went for miles. We used to, when the New Zealand Surf Champs were on, the years that we were sort of into it was always at Gisborne. And I think the reason being because there's about 5 beaches there that are all different angles.
Had a good choice,
yeah. And we used to stay in Midway, in the motor camp there, I don't know if it's still, I think it's still there.
Is that right by the beach?
Right on the beach. Just go down the main street, where the big clock was, turn right, and that's where you were. There was 2 beaches, there was Midway and another one in the same bay. Yeah. And we used to stay there. We used to pack up, I had an Austin 8, as I said, and you could buy a kit that you put on the bucket seat, where you could flick it down to sleep, So, and you could slide it forward and flick down, and a guy could stretch out.
So you had a bed and didn't have to take
No, for the drive.
tent.
Like it took us so long, it took 12 hours.
Yeah.
So we had 6 hours driving, you see, because we'd leave it at 4 o'clock on Friday night. And so we would drive, like one guy would drive till midnight, which is 12 hours, and the other guy would carry on for 4 o'clock, swap, so we weren't tired enough to surf, get up to crack of dawn, surf all day Saturday, surf Sunday till 12, and home again at 12 o'clock, start working on Monday.
That's asking a lot on a little wee car like that. What was top speed?
50 mile an hour downhill with a tailwind. And I ain't joking.
There's some of those gorges to Gisborne. There should be a pretty windy, slow trip.
Well, we used to go down, obviously you go down like Route 27, which is now through Waihi Beach,
and
a long way through that, it still is a long way through that gorge from Apotiki to Gisborne.
Wetsuit, what did you have? Rugby jersey?
No,
Nothing.
rugby jersey, rugby jersey, but not on big surf, because when you come off, you come over your head and drown you.
Yeah, so you surf right through winter?
Yep.
No worries?
No worries.
Big, tough young fellas didn't
No,
feel
but
at
see,
all.
but remember, we weren't sitting in the water. We're on these big boards. So we weren't like these young buggers that go out these days on these short boards. They're up to their necks sitting and waiting for a wave, aren't they?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
As if it was smaller surf, we'd use we'd get one of those shearers singlets, you know, those wool ones.
Oh, yep.
It's like hell. Put that under a rugby jersey.
Yeah.
Get wet, but you stay reasonably warm.
Yeah.
But on big surf, you couldn't because it's too dangerous.
Best surfboard?
Well, I've only ever owned
The one that you've
Dunlop.
got, and it's still around. Yeah.
Well, I go to Peter Mellinger.
Yeah.
When he had Blue Rev.
Yeah.
I'll be ring Peter Mellinger, you'd still have it. If he sold it, pissed me off because I said to him, you're not to sell it.
I'll get a photo of that and
Yeah.
Have you ever had one of those days when the surf's been fantastic that stands out in your mind where you know
I hope your beach one was closed down.
Yeah. I hope your beach.
Yeah, when it was closed down. Yeah.
So how big you talking about?
Oh, it's hard to say in those days, but you know, there would
Good
have
head height, something?
Oh, more than that. They were big, like with these big boards.
Yeah.
You know, when you got on big surf, they used to hum like it. That Dunlop one used to make a hell of a racket.
Yeah.
Hum like a big top.
Yeah, that's the fin probably cut through the water, was it?
Don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So when you had a bit of pace up, you'd be humming along.
Yeah, you'd be humming. And it was quite loud.
Yeah.
So, and it was a left-hand brake, which suited me right down the ground because I was a goofy footer.
Yeah.
So a left-hand brake is perfect for me.
What's the most stupidest thing you've seen out surfing or on the way surfing? Well, you telling me about you didn't buy many groceries when you went on some of these surfing trips. Can you enlighten me on that?
Off the land, we used to when the grocery shop used to do these deliveries. If we were going on the highway, we'd keep a looking, like cream stands used to have the cream cans, and you'd see a box of groceries. So if you saw one, you knew that was the start of a whole thing.
Yeah.
So we used to stop and take a loaf of bread or one, and then stop the next one and take a jam, and we never take the whole lot because we weren't greedy. But we used to live like kings, really.
I think that's great. Surf heroes. Who did you look up to? Anyone? Local guys in those days?
No, well, that fella Young, that Matt Young.
Oh, Nat Young.
Nat Young.
Yes. Yeah.
I used to, because he was always in the surfing magazines in those days.
Yeah.
That Australian
Midge Farrelly, world champion. Yeah. Any local guys that you looked up to?
Oh, the guys I looked up to was Tui Wordley, of course, because he was older than I was, and he was a good surfer. Yeah. Like he was always in the big boards when I was surfing. Yeah. Tui Wordley, Tim's older brother.
Yeah. Chris Fraser.
He was always around.
Yeah.
But, his sister Monica used to surf too.
Oh yeah. I didn't realise.
I used to see her a lot, but like she was, one of my idol, but she was always kicking around with Chris. Yeah. Tim was only a boy when we were surfing.
Yeah. So did you have another car after you lost it?
Yeah, VW. He had a 60, I don't know, one of the big windows, 67. Yeah, a green one. Yeah.
They were fantastic, weren't they? Did you thrash it on the metal and they just sit on the metal road?
And I had wide wheels on, jolly wide wheels, they used to be called those days.
Yeah.
Had that, and we done a lot of surfing on that. That's when we went further afield, but we went further afield in the like we used to go across the Baileys and up north a bit. Yeah. But with the Austin 8, we just sort of stuck. We always found good surf around that, the Waipu Cove and Sandy Bay was a big track for us in the old Austin 8.
It would have been from Metal Road,
yeah, and Metal Road. So there was really no need for us to do it. So like I have obviously surfed Sandy Bay, I've surfed Shippies, And in actual fact, I drove all the way down to Raglan to say I have surfed at Raglan on a good day. We waited and waited till we knew it was good.
And you got a good down there?
And it took me lunch and eated halfway along the way.
Did you, when you went to Raglan the first time, did you have to jump the fence, or was the road actually going?
No, jump the fence.
Jump the fence and walk down.
Walk down to it. Couldn't drive down to it. Not like you can now. Walk for miles on the beach. And because left-hand braking, so you suited me.
So what happened when you lost your board there? Did it get
No, don't lose them.
You just
don't
fell
lose
onto
them.
it?
Don't lose
Big arm, big strong arms.
Don't lose them. And then if you get to the other end, you probably only have 3 rides because you're knackered because you had to walk a mile along the beach to get back again. Nobody's there in a 4-wheel drive motorbike to pick you up and take you back like these guys these days.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. So when did you sort of ease off surfing? You got into other sports?
Yeah, well, see, when I was in Mangi, I served my apprenticeship down there, and then I come to Royal Grange 70, and I surfed a bit. I brought my board up here and surfed a bit, and then then I sort of put it away because I took rugby seriously. And I was in the reps and that sort of thing. And you just sort of move on a phase. You know, and then when my boys started surfing, they got shortboards. They used to take the big one out.
So then, what are your boys' names? I know who they are, but
Luke was the oldest one, and Kent. And they both surf.
And they still surf.
Still surf. They got shortboards. Kent's just got Australia.
And they got grandchildren. How many grandchildren you got?
Luke's got 2 boys, Kurt and Carter. And Kent's got 2 girls.
2 girls.
In Madison.
So that's interesting.
So I would think the Luke's boys are man on fish. Like they catch fish already now. They're only 7 and 5.
So they might be
they'll
surfing with their dad.
Surfing. Well, a type A, why wouldn't you?
One of my greatest joys was surfing with my oldest grandson, and I've got 5 grandchildren, and that's just to go out with your grandson. It's absolutely fantastic.
So I would think that would. His boys would surf for sure. They're water mad.
So your favourite break would be Waipu, or the one you went to regularly, was it?
Waipu was good. You probably have to say Waipu because we knew it so well. And you could really get a break either way. And it depends where the weather was. I think Waipu's probably changed, but sometimes you get real good years at Waipu. And see, Langs Beach is always a shore break. But if you've got a decent storm and the currents are right for a while, Langs Beach. Mate, some of the best surf I had in my life at Langs Beach, but not very often.
Johnson's Point is still a good wave today. It's a very fast wave. You strike it most. They've got a couple of those at the bar there, peeling off there.
Well, see, we used to, when you go down there, we used to get there in the road and paddle across the estuary. Take a plastic bucket with us and leave it up on the sand, and then go surf it and come back and stop the estuary and get full of pippies and come home with a surfboard and a bucket of pippies. I used to do the same at Horror Bar. We'd go down and get some mussels and pippies and great fun. You're telling me about you just take a fishing line out surfing with you? Quite often.
How did you do that?
Hand line. A hand line. How you used to wind it up. Not on a reel, on a stick. The old way, like string lines.
Old traditional hand line.
Put a bait on it. Or actually, we just put a bait on it and tie a couple of baits. Put it in your mouth. Because we used to kneel in those days. Out you go. And you just sit there because our boards were floating. Me and Gold used to go out together. And we'd catch fish just behind the break at Waipu Cove about March, April. It's good fishing. Catch a fish. And then we had to bring it in, of course.
So who did you surf with?
Mike Rossiter, Goldie Rossiter.
Tell me a little bit about him.
He was a bloody good surfer, that guy. He was a shearer. And when I first met him, he died 5 years ago. He's my best mate. And died of cancer. He was the guy that got me into all sorts of things, because I was on £4 3 and 6, and he was on about 20 quid.
So he had a bit of money.
A little bit of money, so and I couldn't afford to go. And he said, "Well, I'll pay him," So that's how he went. And when I went and cut the scrub for my surfboard, I said, I'm going to buy a surfboard, because he used to be with me. We used to hire those yellow ones. He said, "Oh, get me one too. Here's 20 quid," and just pulled out of a bloody wallet. And because then I was just trying to think. Is it a Roger Lane?
Roger Land, I think.
Roger Land, I think. Because another mate on Bill Cullen, he had a Quain board. No, Goldie's was a Rodney Davison.
Rodney Davison.
So mine was a Dunlop. Then there's an Atlas that made boards.
Atlas wood,
Atlas woods, that was one of the older ones because it had about four strings them down, you had like a log of wood to carry. And then and then the other ones who were surfing with, I think those same book.
Man, if you had one of those, they're all worth $1,000 plus if you got one in good condition nowadays.
They would be, but where would you find one? Under a house somewhere.
In a roof.
In a roof.
You can't think of anything stupid that happened, something funny, anything?
Oh, well, the funniest thing ever, when Goldie went into the army, of course, these famous thunder flashes, these buggers used to pinch.
Oh,
And I remember going up, in my little Austin 8, we come up, it was me and Goldie and another guy, Arthur Owens, who was in the back, and he used to do a bit of surfing, he lives in Carmo, but we go dead still in the Waipu Cove where you could drive up to the top like that photo. And the surf was quite good. We rung up, it was just still in the morning, quite early. And Goldie, and I didn't know, he just, because the door's just open that way. So he's sitting there and he opens up the door and just does something and closes the door and he sort of sits like this. Next thing there's boom. It blew one of the running boards off the car and it threw all the car part and metal and up under the top between the surfboard. And Goldie just gets out, struts up, opens up the bonnet, looks under, what was that, and he woke up, he knew what it was. I don't know what it was. But then I realised.
You probably had half the people of Waipu.
We did. About 2 hours later we had the law there. And somebody reported it, of course, but with the thunder flash they didn't leave any evidence whatsoever. We dropped one in the AMP hall one time in a dance. In the middle of the AMP hall, it was absolutely packed. And he had one, and he pulled, you pull the fuse on, that light, and he dropped it on the floor, and he just moved, because it was about 3 or 4 seconds, I think, and he moved away quick. It didn't do any damage, but it cleaned the hall, mate, in about 5 seconds. That was the funniest thing, probably. But we used to, another classic, we're camping at Waipu Cove in the camp, you see, and we put our tent up and all that, and a couple of guys down the way we were cooking our eggs, like think, and
like or something like that.
And anyway, this guy was annoying to see. He had a brand new tent, one of those tents where you had the door in the middle and you slept either side. So we got the car and we drove through it. Took the tent with us, and we left these guys sitting on their beds, talking to each other. And the tent was wrapped over the car, where it was at the end of the camp where you used to just go out where it wasn't developed. And here's this car just driving away this blooming tent. These guys sitting on their beds. It was funny.
We all know dear old Ross Blomfield passed away, but you were telling me a funny story about that, and I'd love to hear it. Can we have that in front of the camera when you were at a dance?
Oh, we're at the Old Boys Old Boys Rugby Club, which was taken over by the Northern Harbour Board, which is now with the Port of Belarus. We were at a social. And there was, they were the days when John Hickson was in the New Zealand hockey side, and Frank was in Northern hockey. And they were my best friends because of the two toughest guys in town. And anyway, we were there at a social one night with the band and all that, and a car stopped outside, and it was John Blomfield and one other, and I might have been John Belton, I can't remember. The Hickory guys, two of them raced in, grabbed the fire hydrant inside the door and just turned on, squirted everybody and bolted out the door. And because they had their guy in the car that was just going to take off his driver. But he wasn't quick enough because John Hicks was at the bar, and that's why he made New Zealand hockey. He's so quick off the mark. He flew out, hand through the window, grabbed this guy by the neck or the throat or by the ear and said, "You can keep driving, you like, pal, you come out through the window." So he got the whole three of them. By this time Frank was out there, got the whole three of them, marched them in, and squeegee mops and brooms. Everybody's having a beer, watching them, and they cleaned up the whole hall.
That would have been so embarrassing.
I know it was, and because I was a good mate of John Blomfield, I was a real close mate of his, and at the time I only played footy against him, but after that, years after that, I became quite close for him, mate. And he used to come whitewater rafting with us. And I'd always just reminded when he got a bit perky.
The day he got caught.
The day he got caught,
That's fantastic.
That was fun.
You were talking about Clive someone. We can't. Did you think of his name?
I thought it was Clive. I've been thinking. I thought it was Clive McDonald. I know he. And if you can try to track him down. Most people. I know he had a Triumph Herald
Yeah.
The little 2-door ones.
Very low.
Little ones, 2-door, and it was light blue. It was two-tone, light blue and dark blue.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's Clive McDonald, and he would be around the same age as, I think it's Chris Fraserhurst and two.
Yeah, they've got to be close to 70 now, those guys. Yeah.
And he was a short guy, short than we are.
Yeah.
Short, spectacly faced guy, a good surfer though.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was Clive, because I know it's Clive because I know.
A lot of guys, they move around, don't they?
Yeah, you'd never
very
know
hard
where
to
he
track.
is. But he might still run great.
You think he went? You think he went to Boys High because you can track?
Well, I didn't do that. See,
you went to Mangarato, didn't you?
So I did come up here till I was 21.
Yeah.
So all that.
Yeah.
But somebody, you know, I bet you now that Chris will know.
Yeah. Oh.
Tui Woodley.
Yeah.
They remember.
Yeah.
Even Tim might remember. Somebody will remember because he used to be always there.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Mate, that's I can't think of anything to ask you.
No, that's sort of what we used to do. And you move on. I don't think could ever surf down too bloody lazy for a start.
Yeah.
But we never. The small boards were just coming in when we finished. Yeah. And
was quite a conversion to change from a big board. You had plenty of flotation, easy to catch the waves, to a little wee board where you had to be right in the critical part of the wave. And the little guys seemed to handle it. But,
a lot better.
Yeah. What do you 6 foot something?
6'2".
Yeah.
And then when I was surfing, I was still probably, I don't know, probably 95k.
Yeah.
Or even 100k.
See, those boards just would have been too small, no flotation.
Well, see, like Mike Holt's one.
Yeah.
You know, the yellow submarine he called it. It was Roger Lane. It was 10'6".
Yeah.
But he was.
He's a big man.
He was 6'4".
Yeah.
You know, and he would have been probably 100, 110. When you started surfing on these boards they used to work out how long your board was, You didn't go in the shop and just buy and because Goldie's board is only 9'3", and mine's 9'9", until I tried being a smart prick one day at the cove. You know, if you look at the cove on the right hand end where that board used to gush through that thing. Well, with quite a good swell was going through there one day, so we decided we're going to have a crack and surf through there up to the Hudakawa tree. I made it a couple of times, I didn't the other time. So I had to chop I had to knock 6 inches off my board. So mine became a 9'3". But it was still right to surf on. Because it was the measurements and the weight that dictated how you bought the board, and I can't think how it was now.
It's always funny that all the shops that sold surfboards were hardware shops and farming shops. The sports shops didn't seem to have them, but I guess there was an import duty and you had to have a license to import things, and to get an import license was very hard. You had to have overseas funds, so that probably accounts to it why a lot of shops didn't have surfboards.
Well, where was Dunlop though?
New Zealand? Yeah, but the foam and everything, you know, get all imports of foam and glass.
Because I think all the surfboards that all us guys surfed on were all locally made, like New Zealand made.
Yeah, they would have been.
Or they all are now.
All right, cheers, Jim.
No worries.